So I have four ideas, and I haven't yet got a name for the first one, but it's an obstacle course where you're running, and then you fall into a hole, and you're supposed to build a ladder, and then you have different size pieces, and if you build the pieces too big, you can't get out. If you build them too small, you can't get out. So you have to build them in a perfect size, then run around, jump hoops, kind of like PE.
Okay.
It's practically PE, it's like 1/10 part. My second is
But what's the unit of inquiry?
PE.
If it's PE though, what physical exercise are they doing other than moving your finger? I mean, isn't it?
No, like unit requires like changing communities, body basics, heroes in history, global goods, media madness, space explorer.
So those units of inquiry. So it has to involve one of the units of inquiry. But even if it doesn't, it has to be a subject. But I'm saying PE is about physical exercise. Doesn't look like that game has anything to do with physical exercise.
I can incorporate physical stuff into it.
I'm just saying if you're somebody running, if you're playing somebody running on a screen, jumping over stuff. It's not like you're actually running and jumping over stuff. So how does that affect you PE wise?
You should try to censor.
Yeah, I can use the sensor.
But you have to think about that. I mean, at the moment that's not there. You could do something it'd be very easy to do something like even using the sensor in Scratch, where you use that Wii sensor. I mean, in fact, that's an easy game that nobody did. Like you could have something like coming towards you, and then you have to jump over it, and you can actually have kids jumping in front of their computers. It'd be kind of a fun thing to see, jumping over computers to see if they can dodge things. Okay. Anyway, second idea. Yeah?
My second idea is survival. It's just called survival. And what happens is you're a man who's abandoned on an island, and you're supposed to find your way to get off the island. You're supposed to meet people along the way, and then they ask you different questions like how to build a fire. You help them build a fire, and since it's a 3D game, it has the different parts like on the floor, and then you're supposed to use like knowledge.
Again, what's the unit of inquiry is that?
Changing communities, I believe. It's like from a different place, came to different places.
Hi, sorry. Have you guys seen Huda?
No, they're just
No.
came.
Right.
No. I mean, it could be. I guess you could argue it's changing communities. Somebody from a different place and seeing how they survive.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then you go help other people, and you get to a point where you're supposed to get in the helicopter and fly. Yes, it has like a minute of fun. You get to fly a helicopter. And it ends.
Okay. Next idea.
My next idea is called Lifeline. It's where you use like stuff. They learn biology, right? Like simple biology.
Body basics.
Body
Yes,
basics,
body
the
basics.
human body.
So your friend is sick and he needs to, because the doctors don't know what sickness he has,
Mhm.
and you're supposed to pick between different ones. And if you pick the right one, he survives and you get a point, but not immediately. And then he gets worse with something else, and then you're supposed to use different methods of like things you know. It's like, let's say he has a heart disease, and then you decide you fix his lungs, and then you'd end up losing points.
Okay.
Then the consequences, your friend dies.
Cool. I mean, I think actually a game like that you could make it more research based. You could do like, there's nothing wrong with doing a game where the teacher actually says like, okay, the symptoms are he's losing his hair, he's got crazy boils on his head, and his eyes are falling out. Now do research and find out what it is, and the kids can actually it's kind of cool. They could go online try to figure out, and then you might have 4 options. It's crazy hair, skin disease, it's malaria, or it's Ebola, or whatever. And then the kids go, oh, it's crazy hair, skin disease, whatever. And they click on that. So okay, cool. Is there another one, or is that it?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
another one. My next one's called Bank Job. You're supposed to use math equations like 1 + 1 or 2 + 2, depending on the level that they are to math. I'm going to ask the teachers. And you use that to open a safe. And if you open the safe, you get the bonus points, but you start at a tiny safe. And you open that with simple, it gets harder as the safe gets bigger. And you eventually get to a bank vault. You're supposed to open it to big math problems, and
Opens up.
then you're in the game.
Okay, cool. I'll make one quick comment, just quickly. A lot of your problems is that you didn't really do the investigation yet. So a lot of the stuff you're finding out here, like what they're studying and that sort of stuff, when you're saying you're going to find out what they're studying, you should have done that already. You should know what math problems they're going to do. Anyway, aside from that, he's got 4 games. Feedback, what do we think? I like... Sorry?
Friend being disease.
Yeah, I like the disease one, and the math one would work too. I think the last 2 for me are best because they actually go directly to the curriculum. The other ones seem again a bit like there's an idea for a game, but then the educational part is sort of just tacked on. It's not really part of the game. But the last 2 I think would be quite good and quite interesting. Do you know what program you're gonna do them in?
Yeah. It's between 2 programs. I'm thinking of using GameMaker or CryEngine.
Okay, it's up to you. As for what I know from CryEngine is that it's a lot more about graphics than anything. I'm not sure that the last 2, maybe the safe one, you could do that. But for the I think you might end up spending too much time trying to create 3D graphics and that sort of stuff rather than focus on the mechanics of the game.
Well, it's
Finishing it up.
based on the game. I had one other idea that I didn't think would work
Okay.
very much, but
Cool. So it's up to you what you want to do. The last 2 are, I think, are best because they're actually in the curriculum. If you want to work on the first 2, you got to make sure they relate more to the curriculum. Cool. Okay. Let's clap. Come on. Good. Well done. You can turn that off. So.